Yeah, my name's Tim Breers. I'm CEO of a Cambridge-based company called Evernetics, which is developing a new approach to gene synthesis by making DNA on silicon chips. I'm originally a molecular biologist many years ago, and I've been working for a number of biotechs over the past 15-20 years. Developing new gene synthesis technology is about creating the fundamental building blocks to enable us to facilitate this fast-growing field of synthetic biology. Yeah, well, I think in terms of where we're at with synthetic biology, it's really about creating the sorts of technologies that will have a huge impact in a variety of sectors, from pharmaceuticals to agriculture and the environment, to industrial biotech, to reducing our reliance on petroleum products, for example. So there really are many opportunities where synthetic biology can play an important role. I think one of the interesting things is that with a huge amount of sequence information, better understanding of fundamental biology, it will now shortly become possible to be able to start engineering organisms to do things that would have been unthinkable a few years ago. I mean, there is, if you look across the world, a huge amount of genetic variation. Organisms do all sorts of things. So what we're really doing is seeking to accelerate evolution to make biology do things that we want it to do. Yeah, I think communication and trust are very important. So it's important not only that we communicate the potential upside of synthetic biology, what it might do in terms of reducing our reliance on things like petroleum, creating new opportunities in agriculture and pharmaceuticals. It's very important that we communicate the upsides to people, but it's also important as a starting point that we communicate what we've done already to build the trust of people who might otherwise not be familiar with the technology. It probably is true that scientists and startup companies tend to communicate with people who understand well what they're doing and what they're trying to do. I think the important thing is that we look to try and broaden that dialogue and speak to people outside our industry who might be beneficiaries, might be other stakeholders, but people in general in the public whose trust we need to gain before we can start delivering products into the marketplace. Well, in our case, it will be we're looking to develop a DNA writer, so a printer that will sit on every lab bench. So it will be democratizing gene synthesis, giving the users the opportunity of making their own DNA. So really changing the paradigm of DNA synthesis that's currently a service-based industry. So it's looking to put DNA writing into the hands of the people who will use it. Well, I think it's up to all of us across the industry to deliver a positive message, an affirmative narrative to consumers that actually what we're doing is important. It's trying to solve some really important issues, to build their trust as we go along in that journey.